Welcome back to Dan's Messy Garage. Today I'm in my messy garage and I'm going to be taking a break from Project Betty while I work on my 78 Mustang II, which doesn't have a name. And I'm going to be doing a few things, mainly replacing the heater core. That is going to be a nightmare. I already know that, because the car has air conditioning. It's a giant size heater and air conditioning box that fits underneath that whole area right up by the firewall. So I'm going to have to take a lot of this apart. I know that crash pad, this top part dash pad, comes right off of there with a few screws, and I think that whole cluster is unboltable or removable. So I'm going to pull that back as far as I can, and I'm going to attempt to change the heater core without removing that giant box that the heater core and air conditioning evaporator are in. I'm going to try to do it in the car, and if I have to just cut the box open, I will. The reason I don't want to take it out is this air conditioning works. Air conditioning works good. You can see everything under the hood's all original. I mean, all the vacuum hoses are there. All the other hoses, emission hoses, are there. Air pump is still on. It still functions. I mean, it's all right out of 1978. It's a 2.8 liter V6, by the way. It may look like a 302, but it's not. So there's other things that I'm going to do at the same time, like the speedometer cable needs to be lubricated because it makes a hell of a racket as it spins around inside there. And I got a couple burned out light bulbs, and thinking about raising the seats because they are really low, and I'm old and climbing out of the car is not fun because the whole car sits low. So I might raise them 1.5 or 2 inches. I have plenty of headroom. I think the first thing I should do is drain the coolant, because I'm going to need to unhook the, wait a minute. They are unhooked. I'm going to need to unhook the heater hoses, but since the heater core leaked, I already have the heater hoses unhooked. And then I can worry about draining enough coolant out later to undo my loop. Because right now I just looped the heater hose. I won't have to drain all the coolant, just enough to take that apart without making a mess. So I got the car in the garage. Just turn the heat on, turn a couple fans on because it's wet and it needs to dry off. The first step in this project for me is going to be to raise the car on jack stands. And I'm going to take the seats out of it, take the console out of it, and with the car higher, it's going to be a lot easier for me to crawl in and out of it 100 times. The steering wheel, I don't think I have to take it all the way out, but I can loosen that and lower that as far as it'll go. And then I can start the fight with the instrument panel. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of wires, connectors, brackets, and braces, and various headaches to get that at least pulled away far enough to work back in there. I'll look into it, but if I can take that whole thing out of there, that'd be even better. But once I get the seats out and the console out, I'm going to have a lot more room to work in there. I just don't know what it's going to entail till I get at it. Seats weren't bad. Now let's see what it takes to get the console out of there. I haven't had one of these consoles out of a car like this. I've had other consoles out, and they're normally held in with a few screws. See, I'm gonna need a Allen wrench to get the shifter thing off. Oh, I have a hood ornament that I bought. I don't know if I'll get to it one this time what's in the garage or not, but I'm gonna put the hood ornament on. Okay. Let's see what we got. There's probably gonna be screws underneath. I'm gonna have to take the inside of the console tray out. That might slip off this handle. These are easily removed. So, feel around here. About this, will that pop out easy? Maybe not. Of course, oh, that chrome part will come off with the top of the console. That thing felt loose. Okay, that's good. Only got one broken tab. Let's see. That's screwed on. Not here. Screwed on in the back. Yeah, I'm going to turn you guys off. Contemplate this while I go sit in the house for a little bit. You know how that goes. I'll come back when I have a plan. Oh, you know what? I bought all the shop manuals for this car. While I'm sitting in the house there for a little while, I'm going to dig up the shop manuals and see where the attachments are for the console. That'll make things a lot easier. I think that might have been a good move to look in this manual. This one is for volume 4 of the body. And when I go to interior trim, section 45, shoved a little piece of sandpaper here to mark that. Floor console, 4531. Okay. Go here. Now, that paragraph, that's all there is to remove the console. What it tells you to do, here's the Mustang. Take out those 4 screws that hold the console to the bracket. And this front part, there's a little section showing through here. Shows that the steel bracket's on the floor. And the console just kind of slides into that bracket. There's the bracket. Console has a hole in it. So, doesn't say anything about removing the shifter handle. It says in the Mustang you don't have to remove the bezel. So it's looking like 4 screws and unplug the wires, lift the rear of the console, slide it forward, and it should come out of there. Let's find out if that's true. I also have the Chilton's Mustang II manual, and I started looking through this, but there's no interior. It's all engine and trans. And then I look here, it's repair and tune-up guide. So this Chilton's isn't going to do me any good for the interior, but it might do me some good for other parts of the car. But for now, we're going to go by the Ford shop manual, that diagram, that paragraph, and take the console out. Okay. Luckily, I don't have a lot of stuff in the console right now. This hat will be good enough to hold what I have in there. All right, so 4 screws. Phillips head. Where's my Phillips bit? Here it is. All right. Okay. Come on. Okay. Let's see. Does this lift up? Yes, it does. Does it slide forward? Yes, it does. Does it unhook? No. Didn't say I had to take the ashtray out, but I think I will. All right. I'm not seeing any wiring connectors. Wow, wow. That may have been one of the easiest consoles I ever took out of a car. 4 screws. Lift up, slide forward, pull it out. I found some YouTube videos. Some guy named Terrence. And he has quite a few Mustang II videos. And he shows actually taking this whole assembly out of a car. It was very helpful. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you. Because he showed me where every attachment was, every clip was, what the cables look like, what everything looks like. And he's saying the hardest part about this is getting the light switch out of here. And he had to reach up the side and push the button to pull the knob off. Now, I'm totally familiar with that in Fords. But I also am familiar with just grabbing the shaft with some needle nose and pull the knob off. You don't have to worry about that button. I'm going to try that. Well, that's not going too good. Nope. Not this one. I know in Betty, that's how I do it. All right. So this car, I am going to have to reach up in there, push that magic button, get the light switch out, crawl in here. Right now, this is where the big advantage of taking the seat out is. You can lay right in here. And I need to get up on this side here. Okay, I found the button. I'm trying to push it. I am pushing it. It's not releasing. That is
Not one of Ford's good ideas. I've run into this before. I mean, you can push the button that's supposed to release that lever, or the, I don't know if it's called a lever, the rod, and push the button, it doesn't release it. Anytime you do electrical work on a car, start playing with connectors, you should unhook the battery. Now I was in there pushing that little button on the light switch, and there's a buzzer buzzing to let me know the headlights are on. And it reminded me I should just take this cable off of here. So I'm going to do that. Huh. That one came off easy enough. I don't have to worry about losing any radio stations or anything like that that you would in a modern car, because this has got an old school radio with the the dial tuning. So battery's unhooked. Now I can get back to the fight. All right, I crawled under there, pushed on that button long time. My fingers hurting, so I took can't get much in there, but I was able to take a dime, get in there, and use that, push that button. That button got pushed as far in as it's going. That's not coming off. Now it will. I mean, I clamped vice grips onto the shaft. I got me a antique, old school, ultra heavy duty screwdriver. Anyone would do, but I like this thing. I went in behind the knob and kind of pushed against the vice grips, and that knob is coming off. Look at that. Knob is off. So you can unscrew this bezel. See, the whole thing is they want you to push that button, yank this knob and shaft out of the switch, and then you can take this bezel off and take the rest of the car apart. A trick or a shortcut is to pull the knob off the shaft. I can take this bezel off. That's only held on with a few screws. And then give me a headlight on here so I can see what I'm doing. Phillips head. Looks like there's only 7 screws that hold this bezel. Throwing all the screws in one container. We'll figure out what goes where later. Alright, so easy. Came right out. Put it in the back seat. And I'll pull that light switch thing out of there and show you the button I was fighting with. I was thinking back, I don't recall ever having that button work as it's supposed to. It's always okay. Alright. Let me twist around here and show you this. Here's the light switch. This is like the rheostat to dim the lights. That button's right here, this spring-loaded button. You're supposed to push that in and pull this rod out of here. Now I pushed that in as far as it would go, held it as much as I could, and that's just not coming out of there. It's a nice concept, but that just, in my opinion, they could have come up with something better, or at least have a button that works. This one's not. Alright, that's enough crying. So, can I reach through here? Get that speedometer cable. About up this way. Well, I know I need to take this trim panel off the bottom here to get the steering column to come down. Do that. This little guy here. Back seat with the rest of it. Big honking bracket here. Looks like that's going to have to come off before I can drop the steering column. That's 9/16. Alright. Get a wrench. May as well bring a 1/2 inch with me because I can see other bolts in here that I'm going to need to take out. 1/4 inch ratchet, a couple extensions. Yep, I'm going to go under there with all this. And do you think that's going to be enough? I don't think so, Tim. Alright. See, these are here will be easy to get to. That one wasn't that tight. Okay. There's 2 down. Back here, I know I'm going to need the shallow socket. I have to go get a ratchet wrench. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it'd be too hard to get you guys down in here with me. And of course, there's something mounted to the plate with a big electrical connector on it. It's one of those typical, whoops, I just kicked you guys. One of those typical connectors. Here, let me see if I can take you for a little ride here. Go down in the car, I'll show you what I'm crying about. Alright, this giant plate here. It's got this big thing on it, 2 thick wires. Smaller wires, but those clips you need to like spread that black part out to release the white knob. It's on both sides. You know, they're made to snap on easy, but to get them off, they're difficult. And you start prying on those black tabs, they're gonna snap, because this is an old car. So somewhere I bought a tool to take those apart. Let me see if I can find it. Found it. The concept is to stick these fingers in behind that clip. Of course, is that gonna work without breaking it? I don't know. You would need 2 of them. You have to release both clips and pull that at the same time. What was that, 3 hands, 3 arms, 2 people? I don't know. I hear you guys. Shut up and just do it. I will. Some of the more astute viewers would have noticed while I was struggling to figure out how to get that connector part, that thing was only held out one screw. So I took that screw out, whatever this box is, and it can just stay up there. I don't have to worry about unhooking it. I dropped the steering column. That was very easy. It's got 4 nuts that go on to these studs that hang down. There's 4 of them. Studs go through holes in the bracket. Nuts on them, very easy to drop it down. I dropped the steering column hoping I could have enough room to get into the back of the speedometer so I could take that housing or push the tab and pull the cable out of the speedometer housing. The bracket's in the way, so I'm gonna climb on the other side of the car and see if I can like reach in behind the cluster from that side to get it out. When all else fails, read the directions. Shop manual for Mustang. It tells you to, from under the instrument panel, disconnect the speedometer cable by, squeezing the clip, blah, blah. Well, that's what I was trying to do. But then I came to the car. I don't know why I didn't try this earlier. I reached up on the right side of the column, went right up in there, pushed the little doohickey, and I hooked the cable. Sometimes it helps to read the directions. Not always, but sometimes. I've been fighting with this for a while, trying to take things apart. I got the pad assembly off, no problem. Speaker came out, a little bit of problem. Glove box, total pain in the butt to get out of there. It was like 2 pieces, and they had to come apart before you could take it out. Nightmare. Now I'm trying to get the ducting out. Defroster, duct, looks like that might not be too bad. But the ducts for the vents, that's a battle. There's a screw back there, like in that area, that you can't get to easily, and I need to take a break. I've been out here for too long fighting with this, playing contortionist, crawling around, trying to reach screws from different angles. I need a break. So I think I'm gonna go in the house and have a cup of coffee and take a break. I was able to unbolt the dash and pull it away from the car. The defroster duct can now come out of there and move off the side. All right, there's a duct here that goes to these air conditioning vents. Got that screw off, so that duct comes off. The center duct is the one that was giving me all trouble because there's a screw back in there. You yank it out of here and I'll show you this. Goes in that bracket, the back side of this thing, and you can't get to it. That was a real pain. Okay, just these froster ducts. Let me switch hands here. It's still held on to the car with a vacuum hose that doesn't want to come free, but I can set it off to the side. There's another duct here, had a screw holding it in, and another screw over here. That's like the floor duct. That came out. This little guy here was It's held on with a couple studs and nuts and one of those little spring clips that go on there. It's like a one-way clip. I finally got that to come off. Of course, the clip went into Neverland. I don't know where it went. I've been studying this for a while. I don't think I'm going to be able to accomplish what I thought I could. I was really hoping I could change the heater core without removing that whole giant box. This hump here is where the evaporator for the air conditioning heater core is in behind that other hump. The problem is this goes way back in there, and there's some screws that go vertically into the two halves, like that one there, and they go all around the edges. I can't get back in there to get those. Now I was thinking, well, I could, just cut the box apart, get the heater core out of there, and glue it back together or do something with it, but I'm second guessing that. I think I'm just gonna have to bow down and take the thing out and do it correctly. I'm gonna call this the end of this video, part one of me putting a heater core in a 78 Mustang II that has air conditioning. I was really hoping I could do it without having to remove that giant box, but it's just not gonna happen. I did accomplish a lot. I made a huge mess. Got a back seat full of parts. I have tools all over the car. Steering wheel laying on the floor. And it's all exposed and ready to come out of there. But that's going to be the end of part one. Thanks for watching Dan's Messy Garage. Please come back to my channel for part two when I install the heater core. Thanks for watching. Bye.